Good anytime, my fuzzies, to a quick review of a game I just finished. All opinions in this video are mine and mine alone, so just please enjoy and don't take them too seriously. Thank you. Welcome, my fuzzies, to a quick review of Evil Dead Regeneration. Yeah, as I always do for these reviews, I kind of review my thoughts on them, go through some plot points being the story, characters, combat, game mechanics, setting, in this case legacy, about the game, how I feel about them, where I think it can be improved, just quick things like that, just to get an overall sense of the game. So, without further ado, let's begin. And overall, this game has been a really good experience. The combat was good, that gave you many varieties of attacks. There's powerful attacks that were OP that I used after I learned about them. It was very straightforward rather than the other games, which had puzzle elements, some of which were a little too obscure, or just not too clear. Not a bad thing. I think most of it was on me for at least Fistful of Dynamite. I think I just didn't connect things or explore well enough. But, you know, to each their own how they play. But yeah, so overall, pretty good game, settings and whatnot. The characters were the same as always. And the combat, or the game mechanics, were fine with how they are. But either way, let's get more into a deep dive, starting with the story. So this story, interestingly enough, is more of a what-if scenario right after the events of Evil Dead 2, where instead of being sucked back through the sucked into the portal and going back through time into Army of Darkness, instead Ash, after everything at the cabin, was sent right from there to a mental institution, or an insane asylum. There, I guess he's being not told, framed, but people think that he's the one who killed his friends and whatnot, slashed them up for no reason, which isn't true, of course. It was the Deadites. This story isn't just a crazy man's fantasy. And in the process of legality and whatnot, his lawyer finds the journal from Professor Nobley, which shows, like, yeah, he was telling the truth. There are Deadites. They are around. He is the hero. And the Dr. Reinhard has found the Necronomicon and is trying to give himself ultimate power. So Ash, learning this and Deadites being sent into the world again, heads off in order to save Sally, his lawyer, as well as stop the Doctor. On his way through the asylum, besides finding Deadites, he also meets his companion for the adventure, Sam, who is a little guy, I believe it's supposed to be Italian, man who helps you with puzzles by kicking him around. He's half Deadite, so he can't die, he always comes back. So he has a stun ability, and he can be kicked around, and you can possess him for certain points of the story. And so from meeting him, Professor Nobley comes in and kind of tells you, hey, now your goal is to go across the different places and shut portals to stop the invasion. And hopefully by the end, get to Dr. Reinhard, stop him, and stop all the Deadites for good. And overall, it goes pretty successfully. He goes through multiple different areas, closing portals in the areas as they go, finally reaching it to Dr. Reinhard, having their battle, being victorious, but right at the last minute, of course, they are sent somewhere else where we do not know. It is never explained, it's just another dead end, another cliffhanger, like all the other media does. Even if it continues, the movie before it has a cliffhanger. From the movies, TV shows, and games, they all end on interesting notes, and this is no different. I guess I can say multiple different ways. So overall with the story, again, I like it. It's very Evil Dead-ish. The characters add enough to it to make me interested and go on. Again, like I said for all these, I would love to see them redo these stories, but in an animated format. And especially this one, with Sam being half Deadite, half human, there could be some real good evaluation on how he pertains to that, the powers he has from that, how it affects him, Well, does he go bad for an episode? The fight he has and whatnot. I think they could really have a good buddy cop scenario where they're going around doing stuff, using Sam, throwing him into things, using his powers, him getting demolished a lot. They could do a lot with it. But for a game perspective, it is a decent story. If you like Evil Dead, this has the same corny vibes as it always does. Yeah. Most of it, unfortunately, is just going after Reinhard. You don't really meet any characters. You kind of meet Deadite bosses and defeat them and go on. But it's interesting enough that if you like Evil Dead, it's a pretty good game for story and whatnot. And now we'll go on to the characters of the game, which the characters, in this one, there's only really 4 characters, being Ash, of course. Then you have Sam, Sally. I'm gonna freaking double check because I think it's Sally, but that also feels wrong. Oh, if you look in the manual, you can literally see. It is Sally. Okay, I'm not just delusional. It was Sally. Sally and Sam. So you have Ash, Sally, Sam, and Reinhard. Ash, kind of your guy as always. One-liner, insults, hero-esque, but really doesn't want to. Well, this one doesn't really play into the I guess I have to now thing. Again, the other games kind of did as well. Didn't as well. But he's the same old Ash. He has his quips. He has his random lines. Kind of a misogynist, or would it be misogynist? Yeah. More of a creep towards women, which he does apologize in the end. And even this one, when he says it, you can kind of see like, oh no, that wasn't something good to say. So while he's not like in other iterations where he's full on like offense, sexual harassment and doesn't even care, like, yeah, this is what I am. He does have restraint and go, yep, nope, I shouldn't have done that. So that's fine. But still same Evil Dead, insults and whatnot, badassery ensues. Then you have his companion, Sam, who is a little person, and Italian, and that's kind of it. You do get glimpses on stuff, like he talks about his past with some friends and what they did, being trapped in the asylum for 2 years as the doctor. He is a experiment from the doctor, and so it's been 2 years and whatnot. So there is some stuff I would like a more deep dive into Sam's past and whatnot. But overall, it's kind of just, he's loud, he's annoying, he's inappropriate. He's you know, your general annoying sidekick character for adults. Just overall, if you would just shut up, it would be a lot better. But it's fine. Unfortunately, in this, Ash does a lot of small jokes to him, which again, I don't appreciate, because you should never mock someone for how they are, whether it's how they talk, or how they look, and whatnot. Nor should you hate people for, if they like something, don't mock them for it. People can like what they want. So, yeah, it's kind of just jokes at his expense, using him and abusing him. But yeah, his character, there's something there. I would like to see more of what it would be like to be a half Deadite, and how if he, like, how connected he is to that and whatnot, which this doesn't, the game doesn't really do it. He's kind of just there. You could take him away, him being half Deadite, and, like, not told he's half Deadite, and just be like, okay, he's besides respawning, kind of same old. Fine character, but they could have done more. It's all stereotypes with him, unfortunately. Then you have Sally, who is just girl, unfortunately. Girl lawyer, who knows what she's doing, but she's there to get captured, give Ash more of a reason to go after, and to be sacrificed in the end if they don't make it in time. Not much more to say, but that's also how a lot of the Evil Dead movies and media have done with some female characters, is either they're there as just a plot point to be taken away by the darkness, except for in the newest one with Kelly, she does have more of a character. And I guess Ruby as well had more of a character, has more of a character. But yeah, it's just a thing. Ash needs there needs to be a girl for Ash to be somewhat interested in, and either by the end it falls through, or in a later game it just ends. In a later game it just ends abruptly by bus accident. And then Dr. Reihard, he's just villain. He's German. He's a German doctor, which is a stereotype you see a lot as well. And he just wants the power for the power. He has an interesting design. Even from the beginning, he has a white eye and whatnot. But overall, it's just put villain here. Make him German, because that's what everyone's doing at the time. And make him a doctor, or make him a doctor. Oh, if he's a doctor, might as well make him a German doctor. And he's just straight up villain, wants the book. Like a lot of other villains we've seen, human villains we've seen in the series. What you see is kind of what you get. No more, no less. Again, I would like to see his interactions with Sam, and why he did the stuff to Sam, how that affects Sam, his main goals and whatnot, but it is what it is. So overall, if you're looking for great character design, you're not going to find it. Again, if you want an Ash that you know and love, you'll get that. But other than that, it's the same tired jokes against the one character because, haha, he's short, so that makes him less than everyone else, even though it doesn't. It shouldn't matter. And he's also disgusting. Haha, girl is here to be girl. Villain is here to be villain. So yeah, characters not high on the priority for if you're doing this. But it's good to see Ash continue on and have a sidekick to go off of, even if he is basically just insulting him the whole time. Yeah, so that's it for characters, and on to settings, which there is a wide variety of settings that you go to. From the starting at the cabin for a brief fighting thing to learn how to fight and whatnot. You go to the asylum, then the cemetery, then into the catacombs, into the woods. You go to a shipyard, swamp, Port Turnham, and into the evil demonic temple. Overall, there's a wide variety of areas, each having their own unique look, some of which, yeah, have different style of enemy types, or how the enemies look, which is nice. Overall, good variety. Makes sense to see the trail go from one area to another. And yeah, it's nice, makes sense. They look good. It feels like I'm really there. No, it's good enough. And overall, a really fine settings. All a means to an end, like a lot of these games do, but I like them. They were all unique enough to make me go like, yep, I feel like I'm actually progressing through a world, rather than them saying, like in Fistful of Boomstick, yeah, no, we're in the town again, but we're in the future. See, everything's destroyed. Ooh, things are different. Ooh. No, they did good. I liked it. Overall, some nice settings, more of a means to an end. Oh, you go to the mines as well. But overall, fine settings. Really good. Everything was unique. The enemies in those areas were oftentimes different as well. Or had different clothing. I think there was a few different types that are the same, but they have different clothing. But yeah. And then leading off of that into the gameplay. So the gameplay follows a lot of the basic other games where you have the chainsaw at one button, your gun in the other, and this one is no different. This one, though, you have the pistol, shotgun, and a, like, I guess, rocket launcher-esque thing? Firework launcher, maybe? I don't know. In your other hand, you have the chainsaw, you get a harpoon gun, and you get a flamethrower. And overall, you can combo stuff. Harpoon brings people in and you can shoot them. Doing enough damage to an enemy makes a thing go up so you can finish them off quickly. Yeah. So going off weapon-wise, there's enough variety there that if you really care to switch between them, there's enough variety to do that. I kind of found a few combinations that really worked for me to make everything go quicker and whatnot. So that's good. Besides that, Ash has a rage mode, which a lot of games had/have, where for a brief period of time after you kill enough deadites, you can activate a rage mode to make yourself stronger. I didn't really use it much because the combinations I was already using were, you know, better. But there were a few bosses that it worked well against, at least. And it's always good to have something there in case you aren't as aware of how to do things and you're getting cornered. Good to have a way out. Besides that, you have Sam, who you can possess at certain points in the game. Him being smaller can crawl into certain areas that Ash can't, as well as climb across ropes, banisters, wires, whatever, to get across. His main attack is either like a whatever attack, or you can charge up a stun beam, which you can finish people off quickly with that. He can also be used on certain enemies to get above giant berserker enemies, jump down on them, and use that to open up ways. Besides that, when you're not Sam, you can kick him onto enemies. Certain enemies he'll stun so you can finish off quickly. Other enemies he'll just pop the head off, killing them instantly. So, he's pretty good. He's used for puzzles in some areas, just kicking him around. With the flamethrower, you can burn him and kick him into certain things to set things on fire. Probably do more damage that way too, but again, it's a one-shot for most enemies. And the combinations I was using were a lot quicker than most things. So, take that as you will. Besides that, yeah, that's it for him. He was a good variety to the game. Had his own good attacks, was able to do his own thing and help out, and was able to help with some puzzles, so I enjoyed him. His character, like I said, I don't approve of, or I don't really like. I wish they did something different with him, but mechanic-wise, he was good. Added a lot to quite a bit to the game to add more variety and whatnot, which is always nice. And then there's just the gameplay itself, where you're kind of just walking through areas, killing deadites with your weapons, using Sam or yourself to pull switches, open new ways, get to the end, fight the boss, and then continue from there. Fight the boss, close the portal, continue from there. And overall, it was nice, it was simple, it was quick, and fun. I do enjoy this, because, yeah, the puzzles weren't so hard that I had to, like, scour the area over and over again. It was more you just follow single paths, it'll cut off quickly if you're not able to go somewhere. So you're not just wandering aimlessly in the huge open world. It's nice, distinct. More of a beat-em-up style game without being full-on bombarded every so often. And I enjoy it. So if you want a game where you can just turn off your brain-ish and go with slight puzzle elements and whatnot, with some interesting puzzle elements with the weapons you have and Sam at your side, this is a fine one. I like it. It's probably some of the best in the games, because it also gave you a lot of health when you needed it, as opposed to another game that didn't have shit. There's full of boomstick calling you out. And overall, for game mechanics, it really worked. It was very succinct and continuable. Nice, simple, get to the point, get the story, which is what I like, and how Evil Dead should be. Yeah, overall, if you want a nice, sweet adventure, Evil Dead Regeneration might be for you. And then on to the legacy of the games. Again, this one is weird where instead of continuing off of Fistful of Boomstick, they decided to go back to a different what-if scenario if he didn't go back in time, and instead was sent right to an insane asylum afterwards. And you know what? It works. I do like what-if stories, especially in franchises that can really offshoot like this. So overall, it does feel like an Evil Dead game. It does feel like a natural progression to Evil Dead 2. But it does make me think what happened in Evil Dead Army of Darkness that was different enough to happen at the end of that game where he didn't get sent to a insane asylum. But yeah, who knows? Maybe... No, when the portal was open, the book was taken too, I think. Or no, the book was... It was burned at that point. Which is also weird, because in the one that... I don't know, I'm not going into the timeline of the games. That could be a whole separate thing, looking at the book, and then it burns, but it can't be burned, because he said he tried to burn it, but then his friends die in Evil Dead 1. Maybe I'll do a deep dive on the series, looking at inconsistencies, retcons, and whatnot of the series later. That might be a fun episode. Going through all that. Have a scripted episode. But overall for Legacy, it does feel like an Evil Dead game. It's a shame they didn't continue off of Fistful of Boomstick. But it is interesting to see what would happen if he was into the insane asylum. Which of course would just be another being getting the book and doing more shit. Who knew? But overall, a fine addition to the media, fine to go through, nice and quick. You don't really need to... I didn't look anything up on this one, where I think... I can't remember if Hail to the King I had to look up anything. But I know Fistful of Boomstick I did a few times, just because it was very unclear. But also I looked it up because I wasn't really... I should have explored more and didn't, but it's such a big area to go through. But anyways, overall for this game, it is a nice game for the Evil Dead series, a good offshoot of what if would happen, and ends on a cliffhanger. But if you like the Evil Dead series, the characters are means to an end as they always are. The story is interesting enough, the locations are nice and varied, and what you do in those locations is good, fun enough to make me go like, yeah, I wouldn't mind speedrunning this game. And whatnot. I wouldn't mind coming back to it, because there was never a point where I'm like, I hate this isn't good. You got enough health, you have enough variety to make it fun. You have Sam who won't shut up, but, you know, take what you can get. But overall, the only thing I would change on this is the insults to Sam being small. I know that's kind of how it is with Ash and whatnot, but he's trying to help you. Give him a break. But also Sam is an annoying character to begin with, but that's how he's written. Could have been different, but overall, besides that, maybe give another female character that's better. I don't know. That isn't just female to be taken. But anyways, that is it for my quick review of Evil Dead Regeneration. I hope you enjoyed it. Play it for yourself. I do recommend it. It's a nice spin-off tale from Evil Dead 2, but that's it for me. So I will see you next time, my Fuzzy Eights. Take care.